Alright guys, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this tournament grand finals. It's going to be the Warriors of Chaos led by Martinius facing off against the High Elves, who shall be helmed by Catholic Alcoholic here on Borderlow Landing. And it looks like it is going to be the old school Ever Chicken facing off against a pretty unique pick of a Prince on a Star Dragon. So obviously Imric has been the go-to for ages, but always fun to see some new picks here. So for the Chaos Army in the front, it's going to be Chaos Warrior Grey Opens, which of course can bash down High Elf Infantry, but are vulnerable against a couple of the High Elf elements like the Star Dragon. The White Lines of Krace can trade kind of evenly with them, but the Narnia lines are really the big problem for these guys. So we'll have to see how they do. Now, to deal with some of the mass like Narnia lines and dragons, we do have Skull Crushers of Khorne, badass. I love to see this. They did get a nice little speed buff up to 70 speed, so they're not quite as much of a potato as they once were. And yeah, they will do very well in an anti-large fight. If they're going to be fighting something like Dragon Princes or enemy monsters and they can get us around, they can do work. And one Chaos Armored Troll, of course, I think the most powerful thing that Warriors of Chaos have against High Elves is the Hell Cannon, but he's going to be trying something different here with the old Skull Crushers, which is always fun. Now, looking at the legendary Catholic Alcoholic here on the other side, he's going to be rocking the Reaver Archers. His battle line is going to be White Lines of Krace, backed up by just basic archers. So having a couple basic archers is always useful. You know, Marauders with great weapons, trolls. There's plenty of things. You want to shoot the Ever Chicken up in the sky. He only has 40 armor, right? So poking that chicken with some arrows is good. And it looks like on the ground, it is going to be a Henry Cavill pick. So we do have the Lore Master of Hoeth, and he has two very, very good spells, right? I've always wondered why High Elf players don't use the Lore Master more. I feel like they're very solid in this matchup, especially excellent at killing Chaos Warriors with their Great Sword, and they do also have Earthblood and Melkoth. I mean, those are two like S-tier spells, right? So yeah, maybe we'll see more of a comeback of them. I could even see like builds running two of them and just having them, you know, with like a Tyrion or someone like that. Tyrion in this matchup is kind of a cool one as well. But yeah, dragons are just always menacing, and the breath attacks are just so important, right? If Chaos comes in with anything impactful, you know, the breath attack can shut it down. All right, I knew it was coming eventually. Martinius is one of my fellow Chaos Warrior bros. There's not many of us, but the Warriors of Chaos are a very fun faction. I feel like they're a more balanced version of some of the Mono God factions, to be honest. Although, you know, Nurgle's fine, Tzeentch is fine. Slaanesh and Khorne are probably a little bit sauced in general, but Warriors of Chaos are just so cool. So moving on up are the Warriors, and the Hell Cannon is scooting up and looking to get in range of either the White Lines of Krace or maybe some of the archers. Not going to be using the Soul of Damnation, though. This one has a little bit less ammunition than the Soul of Damnation, but it still is very, very good. And I wonder what it's going to be shooting. Do we have an attack order? I think he's just moving it up right now. Obviously, probably going to want to get in range of the archers, which just makes sense for Chaos, right? Chaos is going to be good in a melee grind fight, but the one thing they don't do well is like just kind of archery type units. So taking down the enemy archers and getting rid of the advantage isn't bad, but you know, also just shooting the white lines so you can break through them quicker is a very viable choice as well. And the armored trolls with 110 armor can eat basic archer fire for, you know, a period of time, but you don't want to be eating it nonstop. So, Sartorial, the Ever Chicken in the sky, his shields do get penetrated, and it looks like the Hell Cannon going to be going after the skirmishers, which is good. You don't really have too many tools for chasing them down, except Hellstriders, and I would wager if Martinius, he knows. He probably has a bunch of Hellstriders, as Henry Cavill down here on the ground going to be dropping a big old Melkoths on top of these Skull Crushers here, so those bad boys going to be down to 74, 720, and yeah, losing a lot of HP there. So far, Catholic pretty comfortable here on the field, and I love the double dragon pick. We do have a big old Moon Dragon coming in reserves, and the Moon Dragon will provide another 3 breath attacks, which are basically like spells, right? If you look at it like kind of like a wind spell, you get like this big combat stick and also a couple really nice wind spells, which, yeah, one thing that Catholic should be doing right now that he's not is flying overhead with his Prince and getting a breath attack on the Hell Cannon. The Hell Cannon will like fold and almost die instantly to breath attacks. So if I've done it with Chaos Dwarves. I've got my Bale Taurus character, I fly over, I breath attack the Hell Cannon, and it's basically on the precipice of death after that. So getting the dragon and flying over there is just the MLG play. And I mean, Martinius is doing nothing to stop it. There's no Marauder Horseman. There's nothing there to really, really mitigate that. But it's a weird thing. I see a lot of high-level players, like Catholic is a major event winner. He has won a major, which is only, you know, maybe like 10 players have done that. Not doing that, right? That's like free real estate. He could just fly there and cook it. I mean, maybe he's worried about being like Rampage, but there's no Slaanesh magic. I mean, a Horseman could be summoned in, but it's not like an immediate threat to the Prince. It's more of like a sustained threat. Yeah, strange times indeed. Now in the backfield, it's going to be more good infantry being called in by the High Elves, and the Warriors of Chaos going to be sitting on 1600. I have a feeling Martinius is going to get real crunk and call in some more Skull Crushers. I don't know. I can smell it in the air as the Hell Cannon gets another great shot on the White Lines back here. And we do get some mobility, maybe thinking about pressing around the outside. Oh my god, it's going to be another Skull Crusher, you dirty dog. Here they come. I mean, yeah, they have good killing power, and they can even kill infantry. Even though they are an anti-large cav unit, I find that they can perform pretty well against infantry as well. So the objective is going to be flipping here, potentially. Warriors of Chaos trying to get it, but they don't have enough capture weight on it. High Elves do have a lot of units on there as well, so it's going to be a couple white lines of Krace, and the tug of war will continue between these two mighty champions. On the back objective, is it being defended? It is not. The Marauders have been pulled off it, and they're going to be sent to the front line here. Marauders versus Spearmen is a fine-ish fight, right? And Breath Attack here could be pretty devastating. It looks like the Dragon's thinking about it. He's kind of lining up a little bit down the pipe, looking like he maybe wants to get a big Breath Attack. We'll have to see. Did we see a Breath Attack there just now from the Moon Dragon? We did not, so I didn't miss anything off camera. Skull Crusher is really just being super cautious here. While in the back, we do get Forsaken being called. Forsaken are a good bunker busting unit. They'll kill Spearmen super quickly because of their low armor. But against like things like White Lines of Grace, they will not trade very well because they lack the armor piercing and they themselves have god-awful melee defense. Yeah, point is in flux here. Archers are now shooting into the Chaos Forces, so we do see the Chaos Armor Trolls eating the first salvo, but the 110 armor, and honestly, they can probably like regenerate through a ton of that damage. Trolls are a pretty decent little sponge. They can take it like absolute champs. And the Moon Dragon's now going to be flying through. Is there going to be a Breath Attack? He's thinking about it. Yep, there it goes. And that's going to be right on the Chaos Warrior, so there is bathing him in hot dragon fire. Super heavy metal. And yeah, great. Solid stuff right there. Getting about 150 gold value, maybe 200 gold off those Chaos Warriors with one Breath Attack. And if you can maximize those breaths and get a similar amount of value every time you do that, you're going to be sitting pretty, man. So the Chaos Warriors are going to be advancing up, and the Elves are prepared for them. The two Dragon characters are probably going to be doing a rear charge into these Chaos Warriors, so just try and break them, and then retreating through their own units. We will have to see. Reaver Archers retreating back now that the fight is on, and War Lines of Krace as well as Spearmen going to be coming out. Silver and Guard, and Hellstriders of Slaanesh are going to be there to make sure that the Illyrian Reavers don't cause too much havoc. So the front line does clash, and the White Lines of Krace, heavily outnumbered and outmuscled by these Chaos Warriors, will for sure be losing this fight, but they're going to be going down like champs and getting some damage back on the swing back, as Sartorial, the Ever Chicken, also going to be jumping in. And the Big Dragon does, of course, like we guessed, do a rear charge on the Chaos Warriors. Now, this is a safe-ish rear charge because you can then retreat through your own spears. They will, of course, let you through, and then they will try and obstruct the Skull Crushers, which are going to be charging in, and you see the spears do run interference. So good play there, and honestly turns a pretty decent trade as the Chaos Warriors run and these guys run as well. On the other side, Warriors battling it out versus the White Lines of Krace, and White Lines trying to move up to battle the Marauders. And we do see the Golden Hounds of Gehenna going down, doing a little bit of damage on top of the Archers. As the Trolls do arrive, this will suddenly become a much better fight for the Warriors of Chaos, as the Trolls will bash the helmets in of the White Lines pretty damn easily. Now, this is really the epicenter of combat. We have a big Mortal Wombat right here. We have the Lord Master of Hoth battling the Trolls. We have the Spears trying to hold it down, but the Skull Crushers of Khorne might be able to overwhelm this position. Remember, the Spearmen are a good, buffering piece, but the Spearmen are not going to be happy to be ripped up by Forsaken. Forsaken, with their almost 60 weapon strength, really massacre Spearmen. So the Spearmen are sent running, and now the floodgates are potentially open as the Skull Crushers are going to be getting into the backfield. And where are they going to go? The Prince is going to be forced back here. Objective is in flux. It looks like it's going to be going to the Warriors of Chaos, as Hellstriders are now pressing into the backfield. And this whole flank collapse here, very dodgy. But now Silver and Guard are going to be saturating in, which is going to be uber effective. You definitely need to get those guys in here, as the Skull Crushers continue to get some respectable damage against the Prince. But he does have the Blade of Belhor Corhadris, which gives him over 600 weapon strength. Not bad at all. Hell Cannon going after the Silver and Guard, a great choice. Those are a unit you really need to remove. And Hellstriders in the backfield being incredibly menacing. And they'll also kill, if he's paying attention, if Martinius does get the Hellstrider charge on top of the White Lions, War Lines of Grace, he should be able to win that. But it looks like he did kind of miss the charge there. But, this is like several cav units. It's probably honestly just worth it to leave them there and fight and try and squeeze out as much value as he possibly can. Now, back up in the Mortal Kombat, we do see the Elven Infantry holding pretty well. The White Lions, despite battling a lot of scary monsters and demons and trolls of the Warp, are hanging in there like champs. Elven leadership is very good, as the Sartorial Chicken battles it out with the Moon Dragon, and the Prince is going to be providing encouragement to the nearby troopers. How much longer will they hold? Oh, Blood Beasts are excellent in this matchup, by the way. Blood Beasts of Khorne are actually really good after the splash attack changes. They will beat down a lot of the Elven roster, which is something I didn't really think about as we loaded into this game. But yeah, I would definitely bring like 2 or 3 Blood Beasts in this matchup, 100%. So objective 2, held by the Warriors of Chaos, and now the Hell Cannons are going to be raining in. We do see Martinius pulling a bit of a value lead. The Lore Master of Hoth has been providing a little bit of healing, and the Dragons could still turn the tide of the fight, but here we have the Skull Crushers really getting into the big targets. I mean, they're on their ideal targets. They're battling the War Lines of Krace. They're also battling the Reaver Cav, which are a large target, and it's going to be an absolute bully beatdown here in the secondary rank. And now we just have to see if the dragons can carry this. They are melting through the blood beasts, and there is the Lore Master of Hoth here fighting like an absolute Chad. The unit of Forsaken going to be arriving up, as we do see the value lead 8.3 against 6.2. Pretty substantial here for the Warriors of Chaos, as these Skull Crushers still pinning down a lot of units in the secondary. Armored Chaos Trolls will also counter the White Lines of Cray super hard. And Phoenix Guard called in. Okay, we get a Phoenix Guard call in. Star Dragon Breath Attack on the back. This would be a good spot for the Prince to dive, probably. Like dive in the Skull Crushers and then retreat through the Phoenix Guard could be a very good play. And I think that Catholic was thinking the same thing as he does that. And maybe he could get back in this game a little bit if he could terror out some of the trolls and maybe inevitably shatter them. That could be pretty big indeed. So Marauder Horsemen throwing axes are the call in here. Back objective not being threatened for the High Elves. Really, this is just kind of a land battle-esque fight in the middle as the two players duke it out with, of course, reinforcements, which is the big difference between the two game modes here. Rangers are going to be cruising up, trying to provide some sustained fighting and just honestly desperation buffing, really. Phoenix Guard are going to be very good here, and we do see the two dragon characters starting to get some momentum back, as even though there is a value lead of about, a little over 2,000, 2,400, give or take, there has been a metric ton of healing on these Moon Dragons, and the Elves are certainly not out of this game yet. So Phoenix Guard moving up, and the Prince is going to be duking it out with the Chicken. But the Chicken hanging in there, and he does not stand alone as the Cornate champions, the Skull Crushers of Khorne, having earned 2 chevrons already. Very impressive. Let's see what kind of value we're looking at. About 1,400, so pretty good. Yeah, not a bad performance. I mean, they're a good route right now, but they still have a lot more to give. The Phoenix Guard are going to be saturating in and certainly making a difference in this fight. And we see that a lot of the Trolls and the Skull Crushers running. Could this be the comeback tour here for Catholic Alcoholic and his Elves? In the secondary, the Hellstriders of Slaanesh being super annoying, and they're one of the best assets you have in this matchup because they can really dominate the mobility game. Sure, they lose to things like Dragon Princes and Silver Helms, but they have so much speed that you can dictate which fights you take, and you can even just kite the more expensive cavalry units, which is good. Forsaken just ripping it up now. Elves do not have the capture weight in the middle to get this objective back, though. The Rangers and company fighting over here, as Sartorial, the Ever Chicken, does use the Rock of Inevitability, which is going to be lowering melee defense and speed of these units, making them a little bit more prey to the Marauder Horsemen, which of course do have the throwing axes, which are doing big armor piercing. And this is a big game-changing fight here for Martinius, right? He's got one dragon pinned down here by the remnants of his anti-large cab, which are doing excellent damage. His Marauder Horsemen are getting beautiful damage, and also his Searing Doom is going to be bonking these guys right on the head. So that's going to be big damage there as those Elven infantry just get nuked out. 700 HP on this dragon. That was a really big turn of momentum. As I would imagine the Moon Dragon should be escorted. I mean, Martinius should for sure fly after it. Although on the backside, do we see a ninja attempt? Okay, just some rallying units. Probably not going to be a substantial threat. Phoenix Guard still hanging in there. Elves do have a bit of a resurgence in the middle as the Rangers and Henry Cavill continue fighting. And now the Blood Beasts are going to be moving in to fight them, but not going to be a good fight for the Elves here. Rangers will not have a good time versus Forsaken. Forsaken, 63 weapon strength is no joke. Star Dragon Breath Attack, able to melt a couple of those. Also cooks one of the Blood Beasts. Catholic does have some reinforcements coming in. Rangers as well as some light cav. And the Dragon character really trying to put this game on his back. Currently looking at the valuation of the Dragon character. 2,200 value, pretty good on the Prince. I believe he costs a little bit more than that on the Star Dragon, but not that much more. So Sartorial, the Ever Chicken, coming in with his old drumstick cane. He's going to be trying to beat down this Prince maybe, or no, he's going to be fleeing the scene to try and deal some of the skirmishers. We do get Hellstriders moving out, and where they're going to be going. You definitely got to respect this unit on the back objective, and it looks like the Skull Crushers are going to put some respect on their name. They will charge back here, and the Skull Crushers should be able to butcher them. That was a super Khorne charge right there, man. That was awesome. Yeah, I love seeing these alternative cav getting some play. I've even seen a couple replays with the Rot Knights doing very well. Granted, it was against Bretonnia, who's probably honestly the worst faction of the game right now. Now in the middle, High Elves do get the point back, guys. So Catholic didn't hear no bell. Despite being down in value, he does have the healing build, which is going to be able to endure a value deficit. On the backside here, doesn't look like there's anyone contesting Objective 3, so still up in the air. We have a lot of Spearmen coming in, as well as Narnia Alliance and Rangers. So Warriors of Chaos, they might actually be in a little bit of trouble right now. Like, as I'm looking at the build for Warriors of Chaos, they have, of course, their Hell Cannon back here, which has been, I believe, a second one has been resummoned. So you probably just unsummoned it and resummoned it. But the Marauder Horsemen throwing axes are not going to be very effective at getting all the Rangers off the objective, nor the Hellstriders, right? So this Ranger Corps and the Spearmen coming up, a couple Archers in the back are also going to be very useful. Skull Crushers did stabilize the back objective for the Warriors of Chaos, but it does look like Catholic Alcoholic might be able to hang in there, as his Prince is doing it for the Elves. The Blade of Belcor Hadris is active once again. Big melee attack buff. Of course, he's exhausted at this point, so you can see his stats and his armor and everything's going to be heavily diminished. But the Ever Chicken, of course, is not a great fighter. So, well, he's okay, I suppose. Yeah, no, I take that back. He's definitely a little bit better than, like, Sartorial, not Sartorial. Damn it, what is the name of the Tzeentch one? I haven't seen Tzeentch in so long. The two-headed guy. He sees the future, he sees the past. God, dude, it's just... That's what I get for eating too many carbs today. The old brain's just it's just slipping up. It's gonna haunt me for the rest of this, so I can't remember. I've always prided myself on having like an encyclopedic knowledge of like all the units in this game, but that's gonna haunt me for the days to come. Regardless, the prince is going to be jumping down here. He gets a nice rear charge. Maybe going to get a leadership break on these trolls. We will have to see. So he does get it done. Chaos Armored Trolls potentially going to get terror routed here in just a second. 3, 2, and 1. No terror route. Okay, they're hanging in there, but they probably will in a moment, I would wager. The spears holding back the advancing tides of chaos, but this point is being held very well by the High Elves. And now at this point, Catholic could start Helm's Deeping. I wonder if we're going to be seeing any back objective attempts coming in here for the Forces of Chaos. I don't think so. So Catholic, I would just probably start sending units over to Objective 3, although honestly reinforcing the middle at this point isn't a terrible idea either. The Prince in the back is going to be flying around and getting back up in the sky. I wonder if he has any breath attacks left. Could be pretty big, but yeah, Chaos just does not have much to fight the infantry. And now they do have the Chaos Warriors getting here, but it's going to be a triple cap situation very, very quickly, and I think that's going to be the end of the road. What a cool match, man. We got to see the freaking Skull Crushers in action. A lot of cool unit techs. Arthurial is always really fun to see. We got to see a Prince and a Lore Master of Hoth just chopping it up on the ground as well. That was really, really, really neat, man. I enjoyed that game quite a bit. So let's look at the build here. So Skull Crushers, 1,000 value on this one. This bad boy got 2,000. The Blood Beast just about paid for themselves. Hellstriders are always pretty good, paying for themselves there. Skull Cannon or Hell Cannon's amazing unit. Sarthorial, the Ever Goose, almost 3,000. So yeah, good performance, man. It was a close game. A lot of it came down to the mid-game like momentum shift, where the Warriors of Chaos just did not have an infantry presence on the battlefield, and the Elves did, and they were able to really anchor behind that. And the Dragon character continued to, put up a good fight to the bitter end. Moondragon only got 1,100. Like the Phoenix Guard pick, even though they didn't get their value back, I felt like they were disruptive and certainly were very, very annoying to deal with. So GG, well played to those two players. And now I'm not going to leave you guys here until we can figure out the name of this. God, how am I forgetting that, man? That's what I get for eating like 6 plates of pasta. Kairos Fate Weaver. God damn. Okay, that's it. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the holiday carbs, and we'll see you on the other side.